Matt Vigary's video blog post, take 19. Okay. My writing process can be compared to a lot of different things. It can be compared to practicing a sport and mastering it, or learning to play an instrument or a foreign language, or doing your job. And that's because the initial amount of energy that I put forth into my writing doesn't really do much. So with playing a sport or learning an instrument or a language, trying to learn anything, you spend a lot of time and you don't really get better at anything. So being the math nerd and engineering major that I am, I decided to compare my writing process to something that I thought would work best, and that is an exponential equation. So by looking at an exponential equation graphically and having the x-axis as the time spent in my writing and the y-axis being the quality of my paper, you can visually see my writing process. So, comparing my writing process to this graph of y equals 1 over 25 e raised to the x, this is the amount of time that I spend, and then this would be my paper's quality, or words produced. So both quantitative and qualitative, how my paper is doing. So initially, the very first part is planning. So before I do anything, I plan what I want to do. I think about it. Just like for this project, I spent a lot of time thinking about what I could compare my writing process to. And throughout all this time and energy that you spend thinking, you don't really produce anything. You don't write anything. You don't contribute to your paper. You just spend a lot of time thinking. And you see here that this is a very large section, a large amount of energy, and the paper doesn't really get better. And the next part is the writing process. So after I plan, and I've thought about it for a long time, and I've decided this is what I want to write about, I start to write. And I spend a lot of time writing, and my writing's okay. It's a lot of crap, really. And it's not too good. But I've gotten my ideas down on paper. And once I've done that, I go through and I read my paper. And it's a paper. It's written. It's long. It's not very good quality. It's kind of hard to understand. There's grammar and spelling errors, and it's just okay. And then the next step of my process is the rewriting process. So after I've written my paper and I've decided this is a good idea, I like how I've gotten my ideas down on paper, I try to make it a little better. So I just spend a little bit of extra energy going through and rereading what I've written. The first amount of time that I spent was a very large amount. I spent a ton of time writing and thinking and second guessing myself. And then finally, I decide that it's pretty good, and I go through and correct it. And just in that extra hour that I spend rereading my paper and correcting any errors I find and trying to portray my thoughts better and have my paper flow and make sense logically, my paper gets a lot better. So initially it's okay, and then the more that I spend time on it, just a little bit more time will make my paper a lot better. I hope this is what you're looking for. Anyway, there you go. That is my writing process in a nutshell.